Hey guys, my name is James Toohey and I am a director and filmmaker at Be Viral and Be Remembered Productions. Today, I'm going to be going over what is in my gear bag. Alright, so over the last year I've done hundreds of weddings, and this is the gear that I found allows me to be less invasive, like Dan has said in the previous video, and get cinematic quality shots for a wedding so that you can land more clients. And now in a future video, we'll probably go over more cinematic movements with the cameras, but right now we're just going to talk about just what I have for gear. So starting with our cameras, I always bring two cameras. I have two Sony a7 IIIs. I picked these cameras because they're cheaper than most other bodies. They still shoot 4K at 24 or 4K at 30, which is awesome for ceremonies and speeches. But then 1080 at 60 frames, and then as far as weddings, 1080p is perfect. You don't need to be shooting 4K because then you'll be burning through SD card data. So I have two. I have one camera, which is my 70 to 180 millimeter Tamron lens. This is perfect for setting up on a tripod, shooting down the middle of the aisle, getting just the ceremony with just the couple. That way you can always have that reliable tripod shot to put in the video. And then I have my 24 to 70 Sigma lens, and this is going to be on my gimbal. This is great for shooting B-roll. You got a pretty good wide, and then you can also get kind of zoomed in shots with 70 millimeter so that you can get plenty of B-roll, get people's reactions, get the family in the crowd's reaction and stuff like that is gold for these cameras. So again, I have tripod camera, 70 to 180 millimeter. I have my gimbal camera. All right, so with the cameras, backups. I know Dan talked about having backups and making sure you have everything you need to make sure that if there are any problems or issues that occur, you have something to cover yourself. So I always bring two Sony batteries per camera. So I'm bringing 4 batteries with me per wedding. Now I've done weddings that are 2 hours long that they have me there for just the ceremony, or they have me for 12 hours all day. So batteries are huge. If I know I'm going to be out there for 6+ hours, I'll probably bring even more batteries. So batteries are crucial. Your camera is useless if it has no power. All right, so on top of the cameras and the batteries, I also bring ND filters. ND filters are huge and I love using them because it allows me to manipulate camera settings a lot more. So I have Polar Pro quartz polarized ND filters. I have a 8, a 16, and a 64 ND filter. These are awesome. They come in really cool cases that you can just open right up, keeps them nice and safe. They're foam padded. I bring these because you never know if you're outside, moving outside, inside, cloudy, maybe the sun comes out and the clouds go away. Sometimes it even rains. Having a different types of ND filters are huge. So more rudimentary, but sometimes people forget these, a lens cloth. I always keep a nice clean lens cloth. I always shove it in like my back pocket so I can just grab it whenever I need it. You never know, like the worst thing is when you're going into editing your videos and there's a speck on your lens the entire time and it's like impossible to get rid of. I've been burnt by this in the past, so I always make sure I have a lens cloth and that I always keep wiping it throughout the wedding. And then I also bring this screwdriver. This might seem kind of simple, but it's a huge thing because base plates always have flat heads. You need to screw them in. Sometimes it helps too when you have your gimbal if it requires a flathead screw. These are huge so that you don't have to go digging for change in your pockets to try to screw something. I've been burnt by this again so many times by forgetting it. So screwdriver, huge. All right, so the next big thing that I love to use is a Ronin gimbal. This is the RS2. If I forget a tripod, it doesn't matter, but as long as I have this gimbal, I can get a lot done with it. I can set it up just like this and have a tripod, or I can now have a cinematic moving camera. Learning how to balance this is huge. Learning how to use it, it took me months to learn how to use this properly, but it really paid off. You can do things like parallax, you can move around and get camera movement. If you see the different videos that we have, I've done amazing parallax of people singing at weddings, people dancing. There's so much we can do with just this, and learning how to use it is huge. Again, this is a very, very useful tool. All right, a big thing that a lot of my clients ask is if we have drones. Drone footage is awesome to get your establishing shots, even cool different shapes with all the bridal party. There's so much you can do with a drone to just add more to your video. So what we have is a DJI Maverick 2. This thing is kind of cool. It's nice and small. It's got a little strap here, so this doesn't fit in my bag, but I can just sling it over my shoulder. It's really not that big of a deal. I carry 3 batteries with it because these batteries for most drones don't last very long. So 3 batteries and a remote control that you can charge, and that's it. This is everything you need to make sure that this drone can get up in the air. All right, this is probably the most important and probably the most frustrating part of shooting a wedding is capturing sound. Audio is always something that has been my enemy my entire career. So I invested money into really good audio equipment because I hate when I can't capture good audio. So many times when we get bad audio, the clients always get frustrated and angry with us. So it's huge to make sure that you have the right stuff and good quality stuff. You don't need to be spending $600 a lav mic, but good quality audio equipment is a must. So here I have, what we have is a Zoom F1 lavalier mic. This is awesome because it's not wireless, it records straight to the box. So this is easy enough to just throw on a groom, and then a lot of times I try to get it on the bride too. Sometimes you don't have much of an option or you don't have enough time to get to the groom or the bride to set them up with the lav mic. So the justice of the peace or the officiant is a really good backup. So definitely very big. Another part with using a lav mic is having gaffer's tape. Gaffer's tape is kind of huge because instead of duct tape, which is plastic that holds it together, it's cloth, and it's very, very nice. It doesn't really leave a lot of residue behind on people's clothes or their skin. So I always try to tape it to the bride's dress if I can, because this clip is usually pretty bulky. This is easy enough for a groom because all I do is just hide it underneath the tie. The way you set this up on a groom is I always have this kind of tucked in right underneath the tie to hide it. You usually get the best audio that way. You just kind of just plug it right in to your line in, lock it, turn it on, wait for it to read the SD card, and then it doesn't have an SD card, but hit record, put it on hold, so that way no matter what button you hit, it won't stop it from recording. I've had that happen to me before in the past where somebody hits a button because I forgot to lock it and I have no audio. So nothing makes for a bad video than bad audio. So along with lavalier mics, like the Sony batteries, you got to bring your extra batteries for your lavalier mics. I always bring an extra set. I always check before I leave, but definitely batteries are a must. Aside from the lav mics, I have a Rode shotgun mic. The reason why I bring this is because this is an awesome backup. Say something happens to the lavalier mic, like I said before, you forget to lock it and somebody hits the record button, it stops recording. But the Rode mic is a really good backup. It's directional. Even though I set it up on the tripod, which I usually set up pretty far away, if there's speakers and stuff like that at the wedding that you can, the ceremony itself, you'll be able to get some sort of audio than out of camera. Out of camera audio is the worst. You never want to rely on it. Don't mess around with audio. Make sure you make the investment. Make sure you do your due diligence on audio. Make sure you lock your Zoom mics and your lavalier mics. Make sure you turn on your Rode mic. Always, you can never stop double checking audio and audio levels. Good audio makes and breaks a video. The last thing for what I bring with me to weddings in my gear bag is a little folder for all my SD cards. I like to put my SD cards in all of my equipment before I even get to the location, just so that I can save myself some time. But having a folder so that you can put extra SD cards in, You can take your SD cards after the wedding and all put them in here so they're all collected together, label it together, because we'll have a weekend where about 4, 5, or 6 of our guys are out there filming on weekends for weddings in a single day. So SD cards, we're gonna go through a lot of them, and to organize that is huge. So folders are big, especially for the editing team. Having a way to organize everything is a must. So the final thing is the bag itself. I love having a minimal bag that isn't too crazy big but can fit everything I need. I use a Peak Design bag. These things are not that cheap, but I love the quality of them. So I also can fit everything. Everything I just showed you can fit in this bag. So this is awesome because it has 2 side pockets and you fit all your cameras right in here. You can put all the different extras on the sides. It's all magnetic. Has a little fold over top open. I can fit everything in here. It's waterproof so that so when it rains, you don't have to worry. It's also light enough so you can just throw this on your bag and film with it on your back. Did I say throw it on my bag? I can throw it right on my back and carry it around with me all day, especially if the couple, they don't always like to stay in one place. Like I said before, I was in Newport, Rhode Island at this wedding. I was in a church. I drove 20 minutes to go on a sailboat with them. I was out on a sailboat with them for about an hour. And then afterwards we drove out to a event hall out on the beach by the rocks in this lighthouse. Like, I was bringing this bag everywhere with me. So again, it's all about being at least invasive, but also understand that you could be moving around with a couple and that can get tiring if you bring all of this extra stuff that you just don't need. So that's what I carry in my bag to every wedding. Different shoots are different, require different equipment, but that is the down and dirty on what I bring and what my other guys bring to weddings. Again, light and flexible is a must. You don't want to be carrying too much equipment, but you also got to make sure you have the right equipment. So for serious inquiries, go through our website and request it through our website, or you can email info@bviralproduction.com for all TV, filming, commercial, corporate type videos, and for weddings, info@berememberedproductions.com. I'm James Toohey. Thank you for watching this video.